I love when you get into week 2 of the college football season. We have 2 top 15 matchups to talk about. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Berry. Hope you enjoyed your college football Saturday this week. The marquee matchup took down in the great state of Texas. Austin, Texas, hosting LSU. First top 10 matchup at DKR since 2008. And guys, pregame, we were already going at it.
Yeah, always. Football is chippy. This is the way games should start. They should come out with an attitude.
Why does it always feel like LSU is always involved in one of these things pregame?
Why do we have shirts off? Sam Ellinger's mom, Jenna, in attendance watching her son. First quarter, this is one of those funny moments you can laugh about now. Ellinger back to pass, but Keontae Ingram wide open and drops it.
And I love the aggressiveness by Tom Herman. You got LSU in town. They're ranked number 6. Let's go at them. They thought it was a touchdown.
That was the fun part. Everybody celebrated. It wasn't just them. The friend had to step in and be like,
oh, he's wide open.
It was dropped.
Look at the play. Great back out the backfield. Always hard to pick up for defensive linebackers. Can't see him. Just didn't pull it in.
Ingram with his first career dropped pass on 30 attempts. It was big. Under a minute to play. You know who was big? Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. And he was looking for his big slot target here. Justin Jefferson at 6'3", going up with a beautiful back shoulder high stab.
Towards the end of the first half, LSU really got it going, up 20-7. Now to the fourth quarter, 23-21. Burrow to Terrence Marshall Jr.
Terrence Marshall, one of the 3 LSU wide receivers that had more than 100 yards receiving in this game. Burrow was outstanding.
All right, so Ellinger's going to have to get big here, Jess. 4th and 2.
4th and 2, dropping back to pass. LSU being aggressive. It's an all-out blitz. So as a receiver, if you can make one guy miss, it's a house call. Devin Duvernay does just that.
You spotted that, too. You said they're going to go for it. Devin Duvernay does just that. Texas now trails just 2. Ensuing drive, here comes Burrow. Clyde Edwards-Helaire punches it in. LSU leads 37-28. Edwards-Helaire gives the horns down. Don't get penalized for that this year.
No, you just got to do it to your own team.
Have a little bit of fun. All right, late in the 4th, Burrow back to pass. Pressured. This the play of the game for Burrow.
Maybe his best throw ever. To step up, blitz is coming, pressure. You're only up 6 at this point, late in the game. To step up and throw this ball on the money on a 3rd and 17 and take it to the end zone. Best throw I've seen Joe Burrow make.
471 yards, 4 touchdowns for Burrow. Back comes Texas. Ellinger finds Duvernay again.
Yeah, no quitting Sam Ellinger. And this touchdown pass gives them an opportunity for an onside kick to tie the game.
And watch how close this is. Colin Johnson.
All 6'6".
Oh, it's there.
Almost.
Have another look. I mean,
when I saw this live, I thought he got it.
Guys, we're talking inches from a different story. Either way, LSU hangs on and Coach O is happy.
We trust him. You know, we talked about going 4 minutes. Steve thought we could move the ball. When to put the ball in our quarterback's hands, he got the job done. I have to give credit to Texas. They played one heck of a ball game.
Obviously, it hurts. It hurts a lot, but I think they all realize that, you know, all of our long-term goals are still out there.
All right, so LSU now 6-0 against AP top 10 opponents not named Alabama under Coach O, outscoring those teams by 56 points. 4 of those wins have come by at least a touchdown. Orgeron and LSU likely to see a top 10 Crimson Tide team in the first weekend of November. So there's so many angles to this game that we can discuss, but I think first and foremost it has to be Joe Burrow and the LSU offense.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch. And you would think if you're Texas, if Ellinger throws for 404 touchdowns, you win the game, but not with Ellinger on the other side. And Ellinger has developed into a quarterback that can take this team to the championship. Last season, he was a game manager kind of guy. This time, we watched him put the team on his back and make play after play after play. Now it makes the SEC West very interesting. We always think it's Alabama's conference to win or lose, and all of a sudden, here comes Joe Burrow, here comes LSU, and it's a different storyline when Joe Burrow can stand in the pocket, watch him look off the safety here, and then go to the other side on the post. And this is just one of the many throws that he made, one of his 4 touchdowns. If he can look off the safety and make this play, that's not the Joe Burrow we're used to seeing. Now he's back in the pocket, and watch his back shoulder throw. You can't throw it any better than this. This is pretty good coverage, but if you can go back shoulder, put it high, where there's nothing at all the defensive back can do with it, Joe Burrow has become a quarterback now that is opening a lot of people's eyes, and this was the 3rd and 17. You step up, it's a blitz, and you find a guy crossing the field, and he turns it up. Run after the catch is mainly on the quarterback. If you can give us the ball in a place where we can catch it and continue running like Joe Burrow did in this game, that's how you get those big plays. Joe Burrow can take this team to the playoff.
This is a big day. Joey's giving quarterbacks credit.
All of it, yeah.
How about that? Just a little bit.
It's late.
But don't you guys feel like now that you've seen this against Texas that this LSU passing attack is
last week
real?
we were.
Well, it's one thing to do it against
Southern.
Georgia Southern, fine, but to go on the road at Texas and put up 471 passing yards, that's pretty impressive, guys. I'm just so impressed how in sync this passing game is. I mean, these guys look like they've been in Joe Brady's passing attack for years, not just 2 games. Receivers are running routes full speed with confidence. Burrow's taking his steps, throwing on time. He's reading defenses and throwing the ball with conviction. These receivers are expecting back shoulder throws. It's not like it's catching them off guard. They know exactly where they are in position down the field. And I think this passing game finally gives LSU a real chance to beat Bama. Finally. They've lost 8 in a row. They always try to run the ball and try to play them in a phone booth. Yeah, it doesn't work with Leonard Fournette or Darius Geis. Now you've got receivers.
Now, defense.
Defense can't give up 400 passing yards against Jerry Jeudy, too.
There was no DBU in this game.
That's going to have to get better.
DBU.
But I think if you're Coach O and you're watching LSU now, at least the creativity. When have we said creativity, LSU offense, in the same sentence?
Never.
Gives them a chance to beat Bama and win the SEC West.
We could put the DBU T-shirts away for just
Both
a little
teams.
bit. Just a
Both
little
teams.
Bit. But what I loved about LSU Texas, which sometimes doesn't happen in these big games, it lived up to the hype.
It did.
All right, so LSU, the big win against Texas. Other teams, however, working overtime. That included BYU and Tennessee. Both of these teams looking to avoid starting the season 0-2. Fourth quarter, this thing gets tight. BYU quarterback Zach Wilson's mom is in the stands praying. Can this happen? Tennessee, 3rd and 6. Here's Dave Pasch on the call.
Wilson throws it deep. Oh, my goodness, receiver wide open. Caught in Tennessee territory. Simon inside the 30. Clock is running down. He's tackled at the 16 with 7 seconds left. Oh, my goodness.
Can't let a guy get behind you. This is the end of the game. You're up by 3. They have to travel the entire field with 10 seconds left. Of all the mistakes to make, it's not making a mistake letting a guy get behind your defense.
And they took advantage. Jake Oldroyd, Jesse, look at that. Inches.
Kalani Sitake loves it. He knows he's going to OT. He knows he's got a running game as well, Matt.
He does. Second overtime, BYU ball on the 5-yard line. Tyson Williams runs it in for the touchdown.
Tyson Williams, the South Carolina transfer. Look at the push inside the 3-yard line. The offensive line giving him a hand. They come back and win on the road. The agony and the ecstasy. Sitake loves it, but what about Jeremy Pruitt?
Doesn't.
The bottom line is there's a couple of errors that we made in the game, all right, that you can't do, okay? You can't do. People don't, I mean, you just don't do. We made a couple of those errors in the game, and it's tough to win against anybody when you make errors like that.
Tennessee 0-2 for the first time since 1988. Florida State 23.5-point favorites in this one. Had as much as a 21-point lead. James Blackman feels the pressure. Chase Day intercepts the ball.
I feel like we've seen this story before. Last week, Florida State up 18 to Boise State, found a way to lose it, and now here comes UL Monroe to tie this game and take the lead late.
And the fans can't believe it. Like, why is this happening again? So Blackman with the ball, 6:22 left in the game. Again, they are down to Louisiana Monroe. Blackman big.
Cam Akers at running back is playing very well this season. He had 193 rushing yards in this game and 2 scores. This big screen taken to the crib. Cam Akers was the #1 running back coming out of high school back in 2017. He's been one of the biggest playmakers on offense.
So Florida State takes the lead. Here comes Monroe. Caleb Evans to Josh Peterson, 15 yards, extending the drive. Now a minute and a half left. 7-yard lines. Jacob Meeks, 24 yards field goal, tied at 38. Joey, we're going to overtime.
Last week, Coach Taggart said his team was dehydrated. It's the reason they couldn't perform in the second half. They must have been dehydrated again. Once again, they give up the lead and go to overtime.
All right, so Akers in for the touchdown. Florida State up 7 after the PAT. So now Evans with a chance, 2nd and goal. Evans cuts up, running untouched. You think, so what do you think they do here? Go for 2 or kick the extra point?
Just kick the extra point, keep this thing going. The way your offense is
rolling in the second half.
No doubt.
Easy,
right?
yeah. Oh. Meeks pulls the kick right. Florida State survives 45-44. Willie Taggart, thoughts?
This is a storied program, on winning tradition. And we in a point in our program where those wins hadn't been coming like we all wanted to be. But we're a work in progress, and like I thought tonight, we made another step towards getting this program back to where we wanted to be. Are we there? No, by no means, but we did make a step to get back there, and we will get there. We will. There's a progress in getting there, and can you say we'll get there.
Guess next Hale moment there, another overtime game. This one was fun. Fourth quarter, Colorado trailing 17-7. Steven Montez had a big game.
And I love the play call here. So you're down in your own end. Nebraska's expecting run. You hand off to Alex Fontenot, pitch back to Montez. You get the flea flicker going, and Katie Nixon wins on the back end. A 96-yard touchdown. Great play call by Mel Tucker.
Why do you like this play call?
Because back in your own end, this is what the defense is expecting, to run the football and buy yourself some real estate and some room. Defenses always crowd the line of scrimmage at the box.
It's great when it works.
Right.
Run a flea flicker in the end zone, and people will go nuts if it doesn't work out.
Look at
Montez knew it.
He knows it. His hands are up. He knows that's good.
Boy, did we dial up one. Colorado just trails by 3. Next play, screen pass, Adrian Martinez to Maurice Washington.
And once again, it looks like Nebraska's going to put this game away. They had a 17-point lead before Colorado gets back in it. Now going up by 2 scores in the second half. Of course, their defense will shut the door.
So Jerry Mangum, 7-yard touchdown, back and forth. Colorado cut the deficit 24-21. Later in the fourth, Martinez keeps it.
Yeah, Martinez, tough running here, understanding the situation. 4th and 1, tie game. You need a big play if you're a biggest playmaker.
You talk about a big play. Here we go. 53 seconds left. Montez to Tony Brown.
And this is his second touchdown of the game passing, and you can't throw it much better than this. In the corner, I remember watching this, and Palmer thought it was out of bounds. Palmer's always thinking negative.
How did you
that's a touchdown.
How did you not give credit to the receiver there? Tied at 31, and then in overtime, 34-yard field goal. Martinez hesitates. Big defensive play.
Mustafa Johnson getting in the backfield for a loss.
And so Nebraska's going to have one last chance. Isaac Armstrong making only his second career field goal attempt, 48-yarder. What happens?
That's Joey's 8-iron.
Wide right. That's Joey's everything. 34-31. What a win for Colorado. Mel Tucker's got this thing working.
Really proud of our players. Did a phenomenal job. Just continuing to play the next play. Never looking at the scoreboard and playing for each other. You know, it was all about execution, and they showed a lot of fight. We were best conditioned football team. You know, our team was built in the weight room. We talk about that. We take pride in it, and we knew that if we continued to play and just continue to play the next play and keep fighting, keep scratching, keep clawing, that we would get back in it, and then eventually we will wear them down and then break them at the end, and that's what happened.
Guys, this can't be stated enough. They were down 17 points at the halftime. Their first comeback win in a game with that deficit since 1997. Since Scott Frost was hired, though, the Cornhuskers are now 1-6 in games decided by 5 points or fewer, including both games against Colorado. Here's Frost.
I've only been part of a couple that are tougher than this. As a coach, you try to stay calm on the sideline and do your job. That was tough today because of the emotions. After the sluggish start at the beginning of the third quarter, I think our offense kicked it into gear a couple times when we needed them to. We didn't play well at the same time offensively and defensively in the second half. This is one of the hardest losses I've been a part of.
Michigan and Army facing each other for the first time since 1962. Michigan, 22-point favorite, second quarter, tied at 7. Army came to play. Kelvin Hopkins, Jr., takes it in. Army takes a 14-7 lead. Michigan fans like, what are we doing? Third quarter, Army at the 5-yard line, 3rd and goal. Hopkins, Jr., this is where the game should have been played.
Yeah, and listen, Army doesn't throw it very much, but this is no excuse. You got to understand, 3rd and goal, it's not open. You got to throw this football away. This game should have been 17-7 Army at that point.
All right, so now to the fourth quarter. Michigan 4th and 2. They decide to go for it, give it to Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, and the Army defense steps up their game and they make a play. Army was in this game. They were a 22-point underdog.
That's right.
And they came to play. They had the lead. Michigan gets back in it, but Army continued to make plays.
And again, their defense kept making stops.
Yeah, undersized up front, but they're slanting. They're getting penetration. Twice they stuffed them on 4th and 2.
All right, so score tied at 14. Cole Talley, freshman, first career field goal. Why not the big house for 50 yards?
Get the win for us, kid.
That's not a chip shot. Score remains tied at 14. We again head to overtime. Since the theme, not the first time Army went into overtime against a top 10 team. That 2018 against Oklahoma, kid named Kyler Murray found CeeDee Lamb, still playing.
Why does anybody schedule Army? I mean, why did they?
Because what happens when you escape, you go on to the playoff.
Is that what?
It builds character. First overtime, 3rd and 2, Hopkins Jr. keeps the ball. Sneaks in, Army scores on their first possession. So now what? Michigan needs something. Shea Patterson passes to Ronnie Bell. Jeff Monken disappointed. Like, guys, what are we doing? Michigan gets the first down, 1st and goal, Charbonnet.
Charbonnet carried it 33 times in this game for 104 yards, but Michigan has to be better in the run game. Only had 108 yards rushing. They have to be better, more balanced.
So when they needed a defensive play most, Jesse, they got it.
Yeah, it was the Wolverines' defense that bailed them out in this one, guys. They forced 3 turnovers. They held Army to just 3.3 yards rushing on 61 rushing attempts. They shut down the triple option. It was a sloppy game offensively. But Jim Harbaugh and Michigan survived.
Yes, they do. 24-21, and they're happy.
I don't recall anything that happened. I can't lie. I remember hitting the quarterback. So whatever I did, hopefully it was good. I'm not really sure what happened, but all I know at the end of the play, we hit the quarterback, ball came free, and at that moment I knew it was game, so I just started running and celebrating.
I can talk about the defense and their play the entire game. And that was a gem of a defensive performance. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Talk about the last play, the last series, just the entire football game.
All right, so I choose to look at this as a win is a win is a win.
Yeah.
Army almost gave Michigan a scare. They escape. What did you see?
I'm concerned with the way Shea Patterson's playing football right now through the first 2 weeks of the season. This guy's a big-time playmaker. We know in Josh Gaddis' offense, they want to be aggressive and take shots downfield. But Patterson has to start hitting wide-open looks. Here in a 1st and 10 against Army, he's got Ronnie Bell in the slot running a wheel route with great speed. This receiver gets almost 4 yards behind the defender. You have to hit that pass if you're Shea Patterson. It's not negotiable. Here, getting close to the fringe area, you've got a receiver outside running a post. These are small windows, but with the speed these receivers have, Nico Collins gets 2 yards behind the defender, and Shea Patterson throws the ball out of bounds. So it's not just inaccuracy, but also ball security, Joey. Shea Patterson's fumbling the football. Last week against Middle Tennessee, fumbles, drops a shotgun snap, 2 zone read fumble exchanges, 2 fumbles against Army. They've fumbled 7 times in the last 2 games. They fumbled only 6 times all of last year. The majority of that falls on Shea Patterson, and they're a talented enough team to overcome that against Middle Tennessee or Army. But when they start playing Wisconsin, Iowa, Penn State coming up, they won't be. It's going to cost them.
I think people thought maybe the Josh Gaddis effect on Shea Patterson would be the same as Joe Brady and Joe Burrow at LSU. Haven't seen it yet. Also, we thought Nebraska was that trendy pick-to-click in the Big Ten West.
Yeah, a lot of people thought Nebraska would win the Big Ten West. South Alabama last week, their defense bailed them out, creating the 5 turnovers. And now in this game, their defense gives up 24 points in the 4th quarter. This is a Nebraska team that went into halftime up 17-zip. Looked like they got things clicking, got things rolling, and then they give the game back to Colorado. Where does this Nebraska team go? If they're going to be the best in the West, Wisconsin looks really good. Iowa looks really good. And now everyone is watching this Nebraska team, Scott Frost in his 2nd season, wondering, where is this team at that we expected to see? Now, let's say congratulations to Mel Tucker.
Yes.
You open up your season beating Colorado State and then beating Nebraska. That is a heck of a start at Colorado. Nebraska has to get things going.
Nebraska has to get things going in year 2, and Scott Frost again. We thought maybe they would improve heavily on what they did last season. Still to come on College Football Final. All eyes on the state of Texas. One of their teams in the upstate of South Carolina taking on Clemson. Did Trevor Lawrence bounce back after a shaky week 1? Plus, Nick Saban, all the Tide did was roll, and he was still a little bit saucy about it. More from College Football Final.
College Football Final is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm. And McDonald's.
Welcome back to College Football Final. Time now to check in on the top 5 teams in the country, starting with number 1 Clemson taking on Texas A&M. Clemson entered Saturday, 16-game winning streak. Early in the 2nd, we already saw some improvement out of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I want to see him have to bounce back after last week's game, throwing the 2 interceptions, completed 5 of his first 6 balls in this game, came out on fire, getting Clemson rolling offensively.
Lawrence's 6th touchdown outside of the pocket, which is the most since the start of the 2018 season. Clemson leads 7-3 later in the first. Lawrence again. If you've got these weapons, Jesse, find them.
Easy to get back into the rhythm this way. Just look at T. Higgins' ability to adjust to the football. Thrown behind him, 6'4" with those long arms. He's just dunking on people.
And then later in the drive, Lawrence fakes the handoff. Second rushing touchdown of the season for Lawrence. Clemson leads 17-3. Pick it up fourth quarter. A&M trails 24-3. Kellen Mond trying to do something, trying to put a drive together, finds Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a struggle for this Texas A&M offense. If you think back to last year, Kellen Mond over 400 yards passing in that game. In this game, the Clemson defense a lot better. It was tougher for A&M to get on track.
Jesse, kind of surprising how much Mond in this offense struggled, at least until late.
Yeah, he was 24 of 42, and early in the game missed a lot of very easy throws that could have kept drives alive.
Now watch this. Late in the drive, 3rd and 5, Kayvon Wallace with the blitz. Barely gets touched, forces the bad throw. Quarterback had to rush. Defense took advantage.
Yeah, and last season, that would have been a touchdown pass. When Mond threw those balls up, somehow they found a way to score. Today, they couldn't do it.
And Dabo loves that defense.
I love how our defense fought. You know, just it was fun, you know, getting the turnover on the goal line. And like I said, came up one play short right there from another goal line stand. But our defense set the tone. I thought Trevor Lawrence played quarterback today. I mean, he played quarterback and just led our team. We really left a little out there. We missed some opportunities for some more points, but really dominated the game. And from the second quarter on, so really proud of our team. It's a huge win for us. It's just the second win, but it's a heck of a football team we just beat. Great momentum for us.
Right, so Trevor Lawrence comes out, 3 interceptions over his first 2 games of the season, but I think, Joey, we saw a little bit of a bounce-back effort out of him.
Yeah, and it's the first time we've had to see him bounce back. He hadn't had a game where he threw 2 interceptions. In that game against Georgia Tech, he just tried to do too much. He should have thrown more than 2 interceptions, but he made it through that game. They won because ETN ran it for 200 yards. So coming into this game, now he has to come back. Now he has to show us that young quarterback that we saw last season. And so early in this game, he was going downfield. He was stretching the field. And this throw from the pocket, look around, and this is a back shoulder throw. You can't throw it much better than that. DB is in perfect position. He's covered because Trevor Lawrence placed the ball perfectly. There's nothing you can do. Look at the middle of the field. You can't really see this break. There's a linebacker in front, 2 safeties in the back. Because his receivers, like T. Higgins, are 6'4", they can reach back and grab this ball out of the air. And then the athleticism of Trevor Lawrence to get out of the pocket on the run, moving left, throws it again down to the end zone and gets this ball in for a touchdown. This was Clemson's toughest game of the season. And they made it look easy because Trevor Lawrence didn't try to do too much. He has so many playmakers on this offense. This young quarterback just had to let these guys make plays. This was a Trevor Lawrence we watched win a national championship in this Texas A&M game. They can just keep this rolling. They'll be back in the playoffs.
See how nice it is when you have tall receivers, Matt?
And
I'm not sold on that.
Look, I mean, you think the guys that can...
I'm not sold on the 6'4" receivers.
Higgins, these guys are good. But you mentioned, look, this was the toughest game according to FPI left on Clemson's schedule, at least until the end. Tigers were handling this team. Jesse, going into this game, they lose 5 of the best 6 pass rushes from a year ago. A&M was in the game. You're thinking, what could happen this year?
Well, I think for Clemson, I think defensively they answered some questions too. And we talk about how they lost 4 draft picks up front on their D-line. And, you know, against Georgia Tech last week looked good, but that was an offense transitioning from the option to the spread. So you wanted to see it against a really good A&M offense. Well, Brent Venables was aggressive. He was bringing corner blitzes, tied in with Xavier Thomas coming off the edge. 3 safeties high, bringing everybody from the middle level in after Kellen Mond. He was aggressive. They did a great job in this game stopping the run. A&M ran it 12 times between the tackles, came away with only 37 yards, so they were able to set up 3rd and long. Brett Venables always being aggressive. They've got 3 safeties in Tanner Muse, Kayvon Wallace, Isaiah Simmons that they can blitz and mix and match. Great job mixing up his looks. Joey talked about the offense. And coming into this season, we knew this offense was championship caliber. The defense was going to be the question. But when they play this good on both sides of the ball, they are a national championship caliber.
Clemson's winning streak now 17 consecutive games. That's tied for the longest in program history. Let's check in on Alabama now. We're just going right 1-2. We're going to talk about the best teams in the country. Alabama taking on New Mexico State. It wasn't a question whether the Tide were going to win, but we saw a lot out of Henry Ruggs and the receivers today.
Yeah, this is going to his stats, but Ruggs does all the work going 75 yards. We watched Alabama get off to a slow start against Duke. Not in this game. This was the first play of the game.
What about Jerry Jeudy? Find him now, Tua.
Yeah, he had an efficient day. He had 8 catches, 103 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This is the best receiving core in the nation.
Passes Calvin Ridley for second most in Alabama history of touchdown receptions, and then Tua, he can do this as well. Alabama rolls 62-10. Nick Saban play somebody?
We're playing the best teams that we can get to play us. Why don't you start calling around and see if you can get somebody else to play us, and we'll play them. We'll play anybody you can get to play us.
Never happy.
Why is he so
Never
angry?
happy.
I mean, everything looked good today. Speaking of looking good, Murray State and Georgia. Again, this wasn't going to be a question of if, but Swarman put his defense out of the dogs.
One thing you know about Georgia's defense, they've got a lot of speed. J.R. Reed here scooping the ball and scoring.
So Georgia up in this one, 21-7, and then DeAndre Swift, talented, fast, quick, name it.
Yeah, Georgia ran the ball for 269 yards. Jake Fromm only 11 passes, but he completed 10 of them.
All right, now let's check into the 4th-ranked team in the country, Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts finds C.D. Lamb, 3-yard TD.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts hasn't been in Norman very long, but he's very quickly found out that C.D. Lamb is his best target.
And he quickly found out he loves this offense. Hurts then to Jeremiah Hall.
Yeah, 734 yards of offense, and they got UCLA next. I mean, it looks like fun in Oklahoma right now.
They're just feeling themselves. Then Charleston Rambo. That's an All-American name. 28-0 Sooners. 3rd quarter, Austin Simmons, pass picked. They got the defense in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're going to have to see this happen in Big 12 Conference play to really believe in it. They looked a little bit improved last week against Houston, much improved tonight against South Dakota, but all in all, Lincoln Riley's got to be liking what he sees.
All right, so the Sooners gained 733 total yards, the 2nd most in a game under Riley, the 9th most in a game in program history. Jalen Hurts, 9 touchdowns in the first 2 games. That's more than Heisman winners Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, or Sam Bradford ever had in their first 2 games of the season. Who's going to win the Heisman? I think is what that graphic says. Cincinnati and Ohio State, number 5 in the country. J.K. Dobbins had a day.
People thought Cincinnati was going to give Ohio State a much better game than this. By this time in the game, they're already starting to dominate up front. Then J.K. Dobbins rips off a 60-yard touchdown. That by this point, he has 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the game is just about over.
Yeah, he had a big day, did Dobbins. That, a career long for him. Ohio State pulling away 21-0. Then let's check in on Justin Fields again, Jeff.
Doing a great job here. He's been in control of this offense these first 2 weeks. They roll up 508 total yards. Go back and watch this play and watch J.K. Dobbins being a complete running back, not just with the ball in his hands, but also blocking downfield for his quarterback. You know, just as good for Ryan Day. This defense, goose egg. And they're not giving up explosive plays the same way they were the first 2 weeks.
Ohio State hasn't lost to a team from the state of Ohio since falling to Oberlin back in 1921. You know who's scoring points? Maryland. It must be time to fear the turtle after what they did to Syracuse on Saturday. Plus, Auburn and Oregon went separate ways in week 1. We'll catch them in week 2 when college football final continues.
Are you ready for Monday night? Monday Night Football is back with a doubleheader on ESPN. Are the Saints and Texans ready to put last year behind them and make it all about now? Is Joe Flacco ready to take the reins in Denver? And is Derek Carr ready to lead Gruden's Raiders back to glory?
Come on, you're gonna win this game for me.
Well, this diehard is ready, and so is this one.
Yeah, baby.
Are you ready for Monday night?
How would Auburn and Oregon approach week 2? We'll start with the Tigers taking on Tulane. Bo Nix, Will Hastings.
Will Hastings is
yards.
back in the lineup. Missed last year because of an ACL injury. He is a big weapon for Bo Nix downfield.
And then Eli Stove, jet sweep.
Yeah, sort of a sluggish game for Auburn coming off that Oregon huge win. Expected to see them a little bit more on fire if they weren't in this game, but they found a way to get it done.
Jatavius Whitlow out of the Wildcat.
Jatavius Whitlow, very good. He's very physical, and he gets better as the game goes on.
Kind of just hung around 24-6. Auburn gets the win. What about the other half of that game? Oregon, Justin Herbert and Jacob Breland.
Well, Justin Herbert bounced back. He was ready to roll in this game. The second half of that Auburn game looked a little sluggish, but in this one, he was on fire going downfield. threw 5 touchdowns.
That's what I like about this, Joey. Him taking shots deep down the field. There was just way too much dink and dunk last week in their loss against Auburn. Open up the playbook, Mario Cristobal. They do that. Oregon scores 77.
Herbert, 5 passing touchdowns, 77-6 win. What about NIU and Utah? First quarter, 0s. Ross Bowers scrambles, little front flip. Get athletic into the end zone for a touchdown. However, this wasn't the first time Bowers has done this. He kind of likes this flip look, who played for Cal before transferring.
He's got a future in Cirque du Soleil.
He loves that, yeah.
Homer.
Washington State, that's too athletic. Second quarter tied at 7. Tyler Huntley keeps it.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on this Utah team. If people think they got a chance to win the Pac-12, maybe the best chance for the Pac-12 to get into the playoff.
And then Zach Moss, the other half of the Huntley-Moss duo.
When he's healthy, he's one of the best running backs in the country. $187 last week against BYU. When they run the ball, play defense, and Huntley takes care of the football, they're going to be tough to beat.
They'll smack you 35-17 the final. Wisconsin hosting Central Michigan. You speaking of smacking you, the Wisconsin offensive line, Jonathan Taylor from 4 yards out. Badgers take a 7-0 lead still in the first. Taylor from 2 yards out. Just give the ball to
Yeah, it looks like, throw some tight ends in there, throw a couple fullbacks and give it to Taylor. But the story of this game, Jack Cohn throwing the ball. Look at all the receivers out there for this Wisconsin offense. They're spreading it around.
And then Jesse Taylor again.
You know what I like, too? It's not just him running. They're throwing Jonathan Taylor the football more this year, finally. He already has 3 receiving touchdowns on the season. How many points have they scored?
A lot. Look out if he starts catching out of the backfield. They've outscored its opponents 110-0 this season. That is the most points through the first 2 games without allowing a point by a Big Ten team since Illinois in 1942. In the past half century, only 2 Big Ten teams have begun the season with consecutive shutouts. It's been Wisconsin both times. Speaking of Big Ten, who had Maryland as an offensive juggernaut to start the season?
Hey, Mike Locksley has stepped in, and he has Maryland rolling, put up 70 against Howard last week. But that was Howard. That's why. But no, they come back into this game, and they keep it going with Josh Jackson.
You know what I like? It's not just Josh Jackson throwing it, but they got Anthony McFarland Jr. running, too, here from 20 yards out. They ran for 354 yards, guys.
And then this time, Javon Leake, 64 yards. He can run, he can throw, and Maryland can score 63-20.
Syracuse half next.
Clemson and Mike Locksley, he loved this win.
I'm glad and I'm happy for our team. It's always a team effort. I would have liked us to not be as sloppy in the third quarter, but I thought we challenged our guys to finish the game the right way. Our goal is to win the fourth quarter, and I felt good about us winning the fourth quarter.
It is all about the buy-in. It seems that they've done that. The Locksley era gotten off to a running start. After hanging 79 on Howard last week, the Terps have now scored 142 this season, tied for the 3rd most in a team's first 2 games in the AP poll era. That total is the highest in any 2-game span in program history. Talk about building a program. How would Chip Kelly fare in Week 2 against San Diego State? We'll update you for some Pac-12 out west. Plus, there were so many to choose from. We will show you the top plays from a busy Saturday when college football final continues. Welcome back to College Football Final. Vanderbilt in Purdue on what would have been Tyler Trent's 21st birthday. Purdue unveiled the Tyler Trent Student Gate at Ross-Ade Stadium. He was a super fan, and we lost Trent from bone cancer earlier this year, so good to see the tribute. Purdue first and goal, game tied at 7. Elijah Sindelar to Payne Durham, 2-yard touchdown. Purdue leads 14-7. Fourth quarter, if you're Sindelar, it's a good idea to get to Rondale.
No doubt about it. This offense turned it over 5 times last week in a loss against Nevada. Did a much better job taking care of the ball this time, and Sindelar went off. 509 passing yards and 5 TDs. That one to Rondale Moore.
As did Purdue. They win and they boil 42-24. Guys ready for some hurry up?
Born ready.
Florida, UT Martin. We're going to speed it up. Felipe Franks deep to Van Jefferson.
Yeah, he was very efficient, 25 of 27. But what you love is he's been really good on these deep throws already. Felipe Franks has 3 completions of 65 yards or more this year. This one to the Ole Miss transfer, Van Jefferson. Florida rolls 45-0.
All right, let's keep it running now. UCF, FAU, third quarter. Dylan Gabriel starting at quarterback. deep dime to Adrian Killins Jr.
And a bit of a surprise, Dylan Gabriel getting the start over Brandon Wimbush, went 7 of 19, but they got things rolling early, putting up 28 points in the first half. Things slowed down, but they put FAU away. FAU just did not have enough offense.
Killins, two TDs in this game. UCF wins 48-14. Michigan State, Western Michigan, first quarter, Ladarius Jefferson.
I don't know what was more impressive, Michigan State running the football well in this game, or these unis. It looks like a hybrid between the Seahawks and the 1985 Philadelphia Eagles. Right here, Lewerke rolling out, hitting Cody White. Michigan State, they got Arizona State now.
Yeah, they rolled 51-17. What about Rutgers, Iowa? Nate Stanley looked like a pro quarterback.
Yeah, Nate Stanley, 3 touchdowns last week, 3 touchdowns this week. This defense held Rutgers to 125 yards. Iowa gets ready for Iowa State next. We talked about the Big Ten West. Iowa looks like one of the better teams in the Big Ten.
And they will get a visit from College Game Day. That's going to be a fun one. The old Cy-Hawk trophy out there. It's the segment in college football you didn't know you could live without. Virtual locks. Look at you two smiling already. All right,
it feels good.
They picked 2 games each this week.
We just like giving people free money.
Is that what you do?
That's basically all we're doing.
All right, let's
and
review the picks and let you guys gloat. Joey, Army.
I still don't know why anybody schedules Army. Army's a 22-point underdog. You can't blow out Army because they run the football. How do you blow them out? You don't.
1-0, Joey. Next pick, Maryland, -2.
Hey, you ever seen Mike Locksley's offense? Did you see it last week against Howard? They put up 70. And now they're going against a Syracuse team that was struggling. DeVito's been in a struggle. So take Maryland -2. It was a lock.
In the Nooners, Joey, 2-0. He can relax. Jesse, what about you?
Yeah, I liked Wyoming on the road, -6.5 at Texas State. Fueling themselves after the win against Missouri week 1, but I love their running game, and I love their defense's ability to take the football away. I felt confident about this.
To me, this was the super lock of the day, LSU -6.5.
And it's because of Joe Burrow and this passing attack from LSU. They're spreading the football around. They're so confident. They're racking up points. Now, I didn't expect their secondary to struggle as much as they did against Sam Ehlinger, but that was a big win for LSU on the road, -6.5.
My job with the virtual locks is to go opposite of both of you.
Yeah, so you're just taking some L's
I took 2. I was 0-2. You guys were 4-0.
Take it.
That's quite impressive.
Just take it.
So there you go. Jesse and Joey made us richer in the pocket, richer in the heart. We continue our countdown. 14 more weeks left of this show, which means we give you the best 14s of all time in college football as we celebrate the 150th season. And Coastal Carolina gets a win over a Power 5. Not just any Power 5, Les Miles and the Jayhawks. Battle of the backup quarterbacks, Pac-12 after dark, SC and Stanford. JT Daniels out, Keaton Slovis in, and early on this kid showed his arms. Slovis to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, Slovis is the 5th freshman to start for USC, replacing JT Daniels, who was the 4th freshman. Slovis, big game, 28 of 33.
Yeah, and I don't want to overrate it, but they may have found something with this Slovis kid here over the middle to Tyler Vaughn.
This offense looks good, man. This is why Clay Helton brought in Graham Harrell to be the offensive coordinator and run the air raid offense. They've got really good receivers, and they've got good young quarterbacks to get them the football. USC beat Stanford by 25 at home.
That may be a little bit of a surprise. 45-20 is a healthy win. All right, Tar Heels, UNC, Miami. 4th quarter, Manny Diaz facing his former head coach when he was his defensive coordinator. 4th and 17, Sam Howell to Rontavious Groves.
This game looked like it was going to be a cakewalk for North Carolina, up 17-3 in the first quarter. Here comes Miami. Now Carolina has to fight their way back.
All right, so 1st and goal now from the 10, and this true freshman just gets big. Daz Newsome.
And putting it where only his wide receiver can make the play. It's a great job by Newsome, too, dragging his feet, getting him in bounds. UNC makes the 2-point conversion, and they're up by 3 points.
Okay, so 2nd and 2, Miami 33 seconds. Jaron Williams completes to Mike Harley, 17 yards and the first. Miami gets into field goal range. Did we have another college kicker situation? Bubba backs up. I mean, that wouldn't even.
Not a good day for kickers.
There was a zip code and that wasn't in it. Mac does it again. Love seeing Mac Brown come out with those wins. Okay, as we celebrate the 150th season of college football, we go from 15 weeks to 1 week on this program. Each week we'll count down, give the best player to wear the respective number for the week. Last week, 15. So number 15s this week, number 14s, the best 14s to ever wear it. Jesse, we'll start
Remember
with
the
you.
first time I saw Ty Detmer from BYU? I bought a season preview magazine. I saw this undersized, scrawny kid that wasn't wearing any wristbands on it, and he was putting up these crazy numbers, so I had to watch him play. He was so impressed with how accurate he was, throwing the ball downfield, and Lavelle Edwards' offense still holds the FBS record with 24 straight games with 300 passing yards. Simply one of the best ever.
I'm going old school. Don Hudson.
Wow.
1934 All-American for Alabama. So long ago, instead of wide receivers, they called him ends. He was a speed end. On the other end for Alabama, Paul William Bear Bryant.
I love it. This is truly respecting the 150 years of college football. I'm going to go Vinny Testaverde. Won Miami's first Heisman Trophy while leading the Hurricanes to an undefeated regular season and leading FBS in passing efficiency in 1986. He was 23-3 as a starting quarterback, playing for 2 legendary coaches. So next week's number 13. I don't even know where to begin with number 13. There's a lot. I have in mind a couple of them.
Okay. I know we just left out Sam Bradford at 14, though.
We're going to get honest for that. You know what makes Sam Bradford great? Also a scratch golfer. What can't the kid do?
Unlike you. Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
That's why he's also a Heisman Trophy winner. Still ahead, helmet stickers. Could we have back-to-back helmet sticker winners? You're going to have to find out. Also, you'll have to find out if Dabo's got any magic at the Carrier Dome against Dino next week. Syracuse stumbled Saturday, big week, 7:30 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app.
College Football Final is brought to you by Exxon and Mobil's new Synergy Supreme Plus, their best fuel ever. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
A lot has happened since our last gathering. Pass interference. The Super Bowl.
New rules have just been put in for the NFL.
But we're Saints fans. Let's go, baby! And we're strong and resilient like our city. Who dat? Who dat? Who dat say gonna beat them Saints?
Sunday NFL Countdown crew has you covered week 1. ESPN, 10 a.m. Eastern. You can always watch the show live on the ESPN app from anywhere. What about Buffalo and Penn State? Third quarter, Penn State down 10-7. Matt Myers, pick 6, Oski John Reed.
This is a Penn State team that scored 79 points last week, off to a slow start against Buffalo, going in a half, down 10-7.
You guys want to do some top plays? I think we shall. Starting with Nebraska and Colorado. Steven Montez, Jesse Palmer loves the play.
Backed up on your own goal line. You know the defense is going to crowd 10 people close to the line of scrimmage. You got one-on-one outside. Steven Montez, he's got his hands up in the air before his receiver, KD Nixon, even catches the ball. That's a 96-yard
I agree.
house call.
You know what's awesome, though? Number 4, D2 football. Tiffin and Northwood. Grant Duntachek deep to Bryant Keefe.
This
the
better
reach
be
is
one
over.
hand. This better be 2 hands.
Even
over and get it.
Better.
That's how you got Moscow.
Yeah.
Right there.
Tiffin wins 22-19. Number 3, Howard, Youngstown State. Youngstown State's Nathan Mays deep to Jeremiah Braswell.
Oh, don't make it so hard on him, though, QB. Come on, he's got the guy beat by 15 yards.
Yeah, but you know what?
Get some air
good
under there.
receiver will pick you up.
Well, he wouldn't be on this highlight had it not been for
That is
pass.
two-hand catches.
Southern Utah, Northern Iowa. Will McIlvain to Dean McShane. He went down.
Oh, how about that?
He went down.
See, that's why you don't need to be 6'4". Shorter receivers can stay on their feet.
ODU and Virginia Tech, Hezekiah Grimsley. That's your top play from Saturday.
Oh, go up and stab it with the right hand.
I
Little juggle,
don't even
though.
think
he needed to.
The gloves too, tack of 5 now. All right, those are the top plays. This is the top. What were you thinking? We have a turnover pencil.
What is that? Okay, so you
An
autograph the
accurate
pencil with a Sharpie. Problem is, you're swinging the pencil around.
Oh.
You're going to poke somebody's eye out with that.
That is a lot of pencil.
It'd best be a number 2 pencil. And then here on the play against Tennessee BYU, a BYU player throws the shoe of Garantano.
Yeah.
He didn't like the shoe.
And I don't think a penalty got called, by the way, for that.
I didn't see it. And then finally, what is with this alignment? There's an FSU player, he was actually turned around. He was standing facing the wrong way. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He was hoping
part
they
of the
didn't
play.
see him.
Willie Taggart doing everything he can with the playbook. All right, time for helmet stickers. Joey, we'll start with you.
Going to Appalachian State, Darrington Evans, 3 rushing touchdowns, 245 yards rushing. And the key was on the onside kick, caught it and returned it for a touchdown.
Elijah Sindelar, quarterback for Purdue, guys. 509 passing yards, 5 TDs in their win against Vanderbilt. Becomes the 3rd Purdue quarterback to throw for 500 and 5 TDs in a game. Kyle Orton did it once. Drew Brees did it twice. Pretty good.
Second week in a row, Joe Burrow's getting a helmet sticker, and he earned it.
Back to
471 yards, 4 touchdowns, and win over to Texas. Became the first LSU quarterback to pass for over 400 yards against a ranked opponent since Rohan Davis.
I'm going to the HBCUs. Alabama State's Michael Jefferson, 3 touchdowns, 174 yards receiving as they beat Tuskegee.
Remember Cooper Kupp for the LA Rams?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this guy Dre Dorton at Eastern Washington just broke his record. Love this. We got the token ESPN college helmet here. We've just been leaving that here the first 2 weeks of the season. He went off, though, 15 catches, 289, 3 scores. Big day.
I'm a sucker for good stories. Ryan Helinski, the younger brother of the late Tyler Helinski, got his first start for South Carolina today. 24 of 30, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for another score. Big win for the Gamecocks. Every time he threw a touchdown, he'd look up to the heavens. Great story in Columbia today. But you had something else?
Hold this. I got an honorary helmet sticker for you guys. Bianca Andreescu became the first Canadian male or female to win a major. She swept Serena Williams. Canada, she's 19. Free poutine for everybody.
Oh, this is absurd. That's how we wrap up week 2 of the Cowboys.
Another incomplete pass for Palmer.
Now, what are the similarities between an elephant and a tiger?
They both live in the jungle.
Wrong. Because, sir, they are both marsupials. Members of the marsupial family. Do you understand me?
Yes, I understand.
And if you can't whip out answers like that, that man is liable to, during a commercial break, punch your fucking mouth loose. You understand me?
Yes, I do.
All right, you gotta hit me with some smart shit so I know you're on the ball. I'll show you on the show.
Okay.
Go ahead.